Do you know real estate in China? What's wrong with it nowadays? Here's a Chinese young man. He got a problem like lots of other Chinese people do. He's facing the sky-high housing price right now, which is overpriced in 7 out of the 35 big cities in China. Almost 85% of urban Chinese couldn't afford a house. Compared to other countries, for example, with the same amount of money, you can buy a proper house in Los Angeles, but only a restroom in Beijing. However, it was different for the young man's grandparents. Before 1978, private housing was considered as a public property. The government provided the loan support to facilitate the maintenance of the house. Then in the times of young man's parents, government implemented the policy of housing allowance. The housing cost can be shared by government, the employer, and yourself. Now for this young man, he's not that lucky and had to bear the high housing price and finally becomes a house slave. Why is this? Local governments increase their fiscal revenue by improving price of land and sell it to real estate developers, so the cost increases for developers and consequently the housing price rose up. Secondly, the urbanization in China is still booming. In recent years, about 15 million rural population converted themselves to urban population each year, which also leads to the swell of the housing bubble. What's more, the peak age of population now in China were born in 1980s and 1990s, who form the majority of house buyers, which also contribute to the going up of the housing price. However, we all know the housing bubble in the United States years ago. What's the difference? Basically, the Wall Street player did this. A family buys a house by mortgage from mortgage lenders. The investment banks borrow heaps of money to buy the mortgages from lenders to collect payments from families. Then the investment banks sold the mortgages, which is called CDOs, with considerable rate of return to investors, and they made millions. When the investors wanted more profit, they sold houses by risking mortgage to less responsible and poor families, and collect their houses when they defaulted the mortgage. By this, they got a lot of subprime mortgages and consequently a lot of houses on sale, and the housing price started to go down. As a result, everyone got stuck with the mortgages and CDOs. Finally, the whole financial system was screwed up and everyone started to go bankrupt. However, it's kind of different in China because it is a communist country, and the big brother is always watching you. The government owns the land, central bank, investment banks, and everything. So they can control the real estate by regulation. For example, nationwide the control on the interest rate and the use of land. Locally, the limit on the number of house property of every family and the percentage of down payment, etc. Overall, the state apparatus in China is so strong that they could contain the situation anyway for now. Why does Chinese government want to control the bubble? Well, housing has been recognized as a basic requirement for Chinese people, and also fundamental for Chinese society. Before you're married, you need to prepare a house. When you have children, you need an even larger house. Meanwhile, China as a backward developing country, it needs a pillar industry, which is real estate, to extensively drive the whole economy to rapid development. Real estate also has a close connection to many industries, like steel, concrete, furniture, household appliance, etc. That means it can provide huge employment space. It also speeds up China's urbanization. Therefore, some Chinese people get benefit from buying houses. As we can see, real estate plays a significant role in China's economic growth and maintaining social stability. That is the reason why it has been protected by the Chinese government.